My new album is entitled 1985. The inspiration behind this album, of course, being 1985 is my birth year. I'm inspired by everything that I've been through in my life thus far. At the age of 30, I have grown so much. I've experienced so many things. I've traveled different places. I've heard so much different music in my life that I know where I wanted to take my career and where I wanted to go. Listening to the songs from the late 80s from artists like Surface and LTD and Lionel Richie and Cyndi Lauper and Ready for the World, I got a chance to really tap into some sounds that really expressed where I'm at in my life today. I grew up on the south side of Washington, D.C. I was raised by an incredibly beautiful and talented single mother. My mom is a singer herself. Growing up and listening to her sing around the house and the music she would play, she influenced me a lot. I remember there was a time where she did a talent show at her job, and she did this song dedicated to me with Cheryl Pepsi Riley, Thanks for My Child. And at the end of the song, I had a job. I was given a rose, and I had to walk on stage, and my line was, "I love you, mommy." And I gave her the rose and I gave her the hug. But I knew from that moment that being on stage and doing music was what I was meant to do for the rest of my life. The 80s was an incredible decade for music and fashion. It was a decade where people expressed themselves really freely. And what influenced me with this project is listening to the R&B soul artists like Debarge and Ready for the World and Troop, listening to those type of groups and listening to Michael Jackson, Thriller.
Everybody wants the truth, but nobody wants to be honest.
I wanted this album to be really classic. I wanted it to be timeless, not just in that period of the 80s, but just a CD that you can put on today and say, wow, this album doesn't age, it doesn't get old. It really sets a tone for me as an artist and where my career is going to go in the long run. 1985 sits way above my last two albums. My first album, In Search Of, I was really trying to find myself as an artist. There was a gumbo melting pot of sounds from pop, rock, blues, soul, everything on that album, because I was experimenting. When I got to my second album, Instant Gratification, I was a little bit more sure of who I was, but I really hadn't reached that point yet. And every album was 2 years that I made an album after that. And then it took me 4 years to create, which is now 1985. And in that 4-year time, I've learned, I've experienced, I've grown as a man, I've grown as an artist, and I really was able to tap into my sound vocally. I was able to do things with my voice that I wasn't able to do back then. I was able to express myself in my songwriting and be more vulnerable to allow myself to say things where I otherwise wouldn't even touch on. Man, I have so many incredible new tracks on this project, starting with the lead single, Over.
You were never good for me. I was never good for you. I'm forced to face the truth. Yeah, it's hard for me to do. It's really over.
Over was created out of a situation where I knew I had to let go of. Hearing the hauntingness of the piano and the drums really creates this eerie feeling of actually late night, being somewhere vulnerable and expressing yourself to say, I've come to the point where this has to be over. You know, Over is just one track, and when you go listen down to something like SOS, where it gives you this pop rock feel, in the song, I'm screaming out, I'm sending the SOS around the world because I need you. I'm screaming out that, look, there's nothing else in the world and there's no place that I'd rather be than to be right here. And I know that you're the person that is able to help me, you know, in this point in my life. Or where you listen to a song like Killer, where it gives you a Michael Jackson Thriller-esque type song and theme where I'm just having fun. And then you hear a song like Save Me Tonight, where I'm basically stretching my hands out and asking God and asking anyone, please, that you see me in this vulnerable moment to help me to make it through. All these songs fit together on this album to tell a story about my life and about what I've been through from a child up until now. I set a really close team with me. Michael Gary Sr. and Michael Gary Jr. worked on this album from Revelations Production. I knew that those two guys were the men that were able to really capture the sound that I was looking for. I want you to take these songs and I want people to say, wow, this song is something I've been through in my life, or this song is definitely where I'm at in my life in this point in time. I want people to be inspired and uplifted. I want people to be empowered behind this music, to know that they can be whoever they want to be and that they can go boldly in their lives and walk firmly in their purpose and say, I am who I am, just as well as I can say that I know who I am. And 1985 doesn't just represent the year I was born, but it represents who I am as a person.